let's bring in Jim Acosta because I can't figure this out. Hey, friend.
Hey
Hey,
there, how you doing? I finally figured it out. You'd think I would know
Blair.
this stuff by now, but I'm here.
I would think you would know, but that's okay. I give you all kinds of excuses because you're my friend,
I
and I know.
appreciate that.
So listen, I appreciate you. What do you think about this cronyism? First of all, what in the
Yeah.
devil is going on?
I mean, it really is a gangster's paradise right now for Donald Trump. I mean, he's running wild and nobody's really stopping him. We're seeing a little bit this week, April, of the Republicans. I don't want to call it standing up to him. I think they're just putting their finger in the wind and saying, "Oh, he's in the low 30s. We can oppose him on a couple of things here and there to save our necks." I think that's more like what we've been seeing over the last several days. But I mean, when there's stuff in the news about Ivanka and Jared buying their own island in the
Oh my
Adriatic
God.
Sea, I mean,
Tone
what's
deafness.
happening?
That is the biggest tone deafness. Oh, we're just trying to do like everybody wants to do this now. I'm like, who has the money to buy $1 billion island?
Yeah, and you would think maybe you wouldn't do that during a midterm election cycle. Like maybe that sends the wrong message. And for all the stuff they were saying about Hunter Biden, Trump was in the Oval today talking about Hunter, and it's like, are you serious? When your kids are buying an island off of Albania, you know, it's out of control.
It is Marie Antoinette again. Y'all heard me say.
Yeah,
But listen, here it's even deeper. Let's take it deeper. Last week, I was in Canada, in Toronto, and the head of the Conservative Party is blaming Justin Trudeau for what he's considering a recession now. I said, at least they call it a recession. We
right.
just say gas prices are too high, the inflation numbers are high, the economies. I mean, everybody over in that White House is benefiting, and we're trying to figure out which gas station to go to and which market to be able to afford food. That is,
Exactly.
and we have
It's not a recession for the oligarchs. It's not a recession for the Ellisons. It's not a recession for Bill
oh
Pulte
no, it's not. Yeah,
and Todd Blanche and people who are in the Epstein files who aren't getting arrested for what they've done. It's not a recession for Donald Trump and his family, but it's a recession for everybody else. And I mean, I think that's the long and the short of it right now. And that, April, this because you've covered the White House for so many years. They are in control of the federal government.
everything.
And yes, there may be some good people here and there who are blowing the whistle on stuff. And every now and then we hear things. But when Trump is putting somebody like Bill Pulte at the director of national intelligence, that's highly dangerous stuff. A guy who has no idea what he's doing. He's a federal housing official. He's a guy that is a nepo baby who inherited a bunch of money from the Pulte family. Like
That's like
this is not a
he has
serious
that.
person,
No one there
right?
has had any experience in any of these. Not many of them have had any experience. I mean, just look at our face of health. He's
Yeah,
grabbing snakes at Dr. Oz's house. I mean, what the next thing he's going to be the snake wrangler for the White House. I mean, what is going on? And then look at what's happening, what he's done to the press, what Donald Trump's done to the press. Karen Attiah is still in arbitration. Oh,
yeah.
someone just texted me. Trump just fell asleep again in real time.
He was
Ah,
falling asleep this afternoon.
did
He
you
is
see his
falling.
eye was swollen? His right eye was swollen.
He can't stay awake. He barely does any events. April, this is not the same Trump you and I covered during the first term.
Sleepy Trump, sleepy Trump,
This is
sleepy Trump.
sleepy Don. It is totally drowsy Don. Dozing
Sick,
off again.
drowsy Don, sick, drowsy. He's sick too. That
Yeah.
man is sick. And you cannot tell me, and I do believe with that swollen side of his face and that eye, I believe fluid is going somewhere. That's just me. I'm not a doctor, but he's
Yeah.
swollen everywhere else. His ankles are swollen. That leads to heart issues, right? And then that
Yeah.
face. Let me tell you, when you have that kind of swelling, they try to get that fluid off, and they say for people who have dialysis, it goes into your system, it goes to your brain. I'm wondering if this is what we're dealing with because the man is
Mm.
not mentally stable
Right. Well, and they said the other day that he was in excellent health. That's what the White House physician said.
and 238 pounds. Yeah, right.
Exactly. And April, you and I have been around long enough to remember there was a time when we would trust what the White House physician says. Now I think we're in a place where I don't know. Can we trust what the White House physician is saying? Or he just tells Trump what he wants to hear so he can keep his job. I
You
don't
can't
know.
trust anything that anyone says out of that place.
No,
It's not even
exactly.
trust but verify. It's like let me verify. You say what you got to say, and I'm gonna go verify this. But
Exactly.
yeah. So let's talk about the press real quick. What's happening with Karen Attias? She got fired from the Washington Post, and now she's in arbitration because she was a wrongful fire. And this is all
Yeah.
this anti-DEI, anti-woke. This is all Donald Trump. I mean, this could be a victory of sorts, and it's bigger than just her. This is about our craft, our industry, journalism,
Yes.
informing the people, freedom of the press. What do you say to that?
I think that's absolutely right. I mean, Karen Attias was doing amazing work over at the Washington Post. She
As a
was really,
columnist.
yeah, and she was doing incredible work on the Jamal Khashoggi case.
Yes.
The Saudi journalist who was a resident of
Yes.
Virginia, employed by the Washington Post, was brutally murdered, apparently by the Saudi government,
Dismembered.
dismembered with a bone saw and everything. It was just terrible stuff. And Trump continues to cozy up to the Saudis, and Jared Kushner gets a bunch of money from the Saudis, and I guess they're using that money to buy an island in Albania. But Karen was the one who was really making everybody pay attention to the case of Jamal
Yes,
Khashoggi,
it was.
and so she was doing good journalism there. And I think Jeff Bezos just got swept up in the same crazy fever that was swirling around when Trump came back into office, where everybody just said, "Oh, that's it, we're getting rid of DEI. Let's just do this." And look at what Pete Hegseth has been doing over at the Pentagon just in the last several days. It's being reported that he's blocking the promotion of female and minority
Yep.
officers,
The Navy.
in the military, in the Navy, in the Army, and it's absolutely disgraceful. And the person who's doing it, the Secretary of Defense, has no business being in that job.
No business.
As somebody else describes it, he's a DUI hire. He's not a DEI hire; he's a DUI hire, and
DWI. Well, let me
DW
not say
whatever.
that. Let me
But
not say that. Yeah.
I mean, he should not be in that job.
Driving or doing while in intelligence. I don't know.
Yes, yes, that's right.
Dr-
Defense
Doing
without
while in
intelligence.
intelligence. Let's do
That's
that.
it. Yes, yes, that's it exactly. But I mean,
Yeah.
that's the case all over this government. Bill Pulte shouldn't be in that job. You're talking about other people who shouldn't be in jobs, and you got Bill Pulte as the director of national intelligence. You got Todd Blanche, who is employed as Donald Trump's defense lawyer as the attorney general. He has no bona fides to be the attorney general of the United States. It's a joke. And so this whole thing about DEI, it's a total fraud and a charade that they put on to try to distract from the fact that they want to put their own cronies, getting back to what you said at the very beginning of this, to put their own cronies and stooges in these very important jobs.
Yeah, there is no way that this man who was once Donald Trump's attorney, who's been elevated to one of the highest positions in any government, could actually um, be supportive of people versus the president. This is
Yes.
about supporting the president. But let's go to something else. The White House Correspondents Association.
Mm.
Exactly. Yes.
Do we have to?
It's supposed to be about advocacy. It's supposed to be
Yeah.
about advocacy for those who do the job,
Yes.
covering the president. And now it feels like we're embedded. It feels
Well,
like the White House Correspondents Association is embedded with the president. And I'm going to say this from the profile on Twitter, the profile says the White House Correspondents Association represents the White House Press Corps in its dealings with the administration on coverage related issues.
yes. That kind of sums it up. But you and I both have been around the block a time or two, and we know that the Correspondents Association is supposed to advocate for the free press. It is
Yeah.
supposed to advocate for the First Amendment in this
Yeah.
country. We've been to events. We saw it during the first term when he wouldn't speak at the Correspondents' Dinner, and they put a big banner that said "Celebrating the First Amendment."
Yeah.
And now we have a situation that, because Donald Trump wants to go and give his hate-filled speech to the
Yeah.
press corps, they're going to do it over at the old Trump Hotel in that ballroom that he built. And everybody's going to have to clink champagne glasses with this administration that
Who's
has been trying to
everybody?
tear
Who's
down.
everybody? Who's
Not
everybody?
me. I'm
Not
not
me.
going. I wasn't going
Not
to go to
I,
the
said
last
the
one.
cat. But I bring this up because of Caitlin Collins again.
Yeah.
He's gone to Caitlin Collins of CNN. She was your colleague at one point. Trump says that Caitlin Collins has hatred in her eyes, and I never see a smile. And every time he does that to her, it makes major news. But she's not the only one. It was Nora O'Donnell right after the Correspondents Association dinner. He berated her about her question, her legitimate questions. Um, it, Rachel Scott of ABC, she asked
Yes.
a question about the war, gas, and all that stuff. And he basically cussed her out. He called it the B word. And then little Kayla, she's not little, but she's the sweetest person. Kayla Gardner from MS Now,
Mm.
he called her stupid. And now he's back to Caitlyn. And he's supposed to be hosting the dinner. Why do we have this dinner supporting the press? Why do we have this association supposedly supporting the press? And then this president is berating us, and no one in the association is speaking up for us. Hello, Weijia Zhang, president of the association from CBS. Maybe
I,
Barry Weiss told her not to. I don't know.
I don't know, maybe, but here's the thing. I mean, Trump can't even get Milli Vanilli to play at his 250th celebration of
Trump, you
America.
know it's true. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Blame it
They
on the
both
rain.
love
I
you.
don't know. Maybe that's what it is. But
Oh my
but
God.
you know, so why is the press doing this? I just think
No,
that
why is the Correspondents Association doing
why
this?
is the Correspondents Association doing this? It just seems
Not
to
the
me it's
press.
yet another example of when they could stand up to Trump and they're not. And I mean, to me, like the most egregious thing that we've seen all week, April, is Barry Weiss and the Ellisons killing 60 Minutes,
Oh my
running
God.
people like Scott Pelley, who used to be a White House correspondent, off
Yes,
of
it
the
was.
air. And if Donald Trump is, if he's going to continue to be emboldened to do this sort of thing, the Correspondents Association, it seems to me, should be taking a stand and saying, no, if you have your FCC henchmen going after places like CBS and ABC, and if you're installing people like the Ellisons and Barry Weiss in charge of that network and maybe in charge of CNN, then it just doesn't work for us to have you, a wannabe dictator and autocrat, presiding over a White House Correspondents' Dinner. The plug should be pulled. Please, finally, pull the plug on this dinner. It is a
It's
disgrace to
too
do
late.
this
The dinner
with
is
Donald
getting
Trump.
ready to happen. The
Yeah.
dinner is getting ready to happen. And you know that it's happening at the Waldorf Astoria in DC that used to be the Trump International. And
Yes.
he says, I built this. No, you built Trump International out of the old post office in
Yeah. The
DC.
post office pavilion has been there for decades.
Yeah, and they made the hotels out of that. Donald Trump made Trump International out of that. But here's the issue, and let's get to Scott Pelley, and he's another CBS person. At least, I mean, I maybe I'm wrong, but Barry Weiss's name is all over this.
Of
Donald
course.
Trump said, I want to have this dinner in 30 days. And it wasn't 30 days, but they made sure they had a dinner. Barry Weiss is in charge of CBS, who employs Ouija, the president. Ouija wasn't able to speak out against Donald Trump on Nora O'Donnell and not the other two I said, or even Caitlyn. And now Scott Pelley. This is out of control. Barry Weiss again. CBS is the issue. And
Yes.
Scott Pelley was magnificent. I worked with him. Scott Pelley was never that kind of person. It had to take something that I knew. I mean, it had to take this this
Right.
atrocity towards 60 Minutes and how he's been told to report unverified things and just given to.
Yeah, he put out a statement saying they asked me to insert falsehoods and bias into my reporting. That is what he said in his statement. Uh, April, you and I, we know this business through and through. That is one of the most damning charges I have ever heard from a journalist aimed at a news organization ever in the history of American journalism. And I hope Scott sues the pants off of CBS and that there is a discovery process and that he is able, through his attorneys, to obtain documents and emails
Oh,
establishing what he is saying. And if that happens, we are talking about one of the biggest media scandals in this country's history, if and when that happens. And I don't think Scott, April. Scott would not say something like that unless he had the goods, unless he knew something like that was going on and had it bulletproof.
right,
And
right.
and it seems to me Scott must know that they were doing something. We're up to no good behind the scenes here. And I hate to say this, but it seems as though 60 Minutes is, for all intents and purposes, dead. It is dead as a program.
Yes,
And I don't know, how does it come back after this at CBS? They've
it doesn't.
destroyed it.
It doesn't. Let me tell you something. That story on the immigration facility where they were sending people in El Salvador. That was a magnificent piece. And I had to watch it through Canada to see it. It was a
Yeah,
magnificent piece that they wanted to kill. And that has been the beginning of the undoing of 60 Minutes. I mean, not just 60 Minutes, but CBS as a whole has changed.
that's right.
Barry Weiss has, I mean, this used to be Walter Cronkite at the desk. That's the
That's
way it
it.
was. I remember that. Dan Rather, thank God we still have him. I would love to get Dan Rather on to talk about this. I would love,
Absolutely.
oh my God. But at the end
Yeah.
of the day, and I'm going to let you go, where do you see journalism going right now? I mean, the real nuts and bolts, all sides of the story journalism going.
I mean, I see it under attack right now. I think what Trump has done is, I've said this before, I'll say it again. He's cracked the code in how to hurt the press in America, but he's been able to do this because he has had the help of the executives and the people who own these companies going along with what he's doing. And just recently he put out this Truth Social post that said, "Look at all these hosts and anchors that I got rid of, and look at the new management that I put in place at CBS, and look at the new ownership of TikTok, and look at the new people who are taking over at CNN." They're very aware of what they're doing. They got rid of Stephen Colbert. They keep trying to go after Jimmy Kimmel. Look
Yes,
what they've done to the
ABC, keep going
Associated
after
Press and
ABC.
every
Yeah,
ABC, exactly. So the list goes on and on. And so Jeff Bezos taking over the Washington Post and deciding that, he's just going to be a house organ for the Trump administration, and nobody takes that paper seriously anymore. It's very sad. I just
yeah,
think that we're in a very dark place right now, in a very serious place right now. And my concern is, April, is it may not come back anytime soon. And it's up to us in independent journalism to ride in there and do what we can to hold their feet to the fire, because at this point, it's looking pretty grim right now.
it is, Graham.
Yeah.
And with that said, and I'm going to add this and I'm going to let you go. And I thank you for joining.
Yeah.
Um, Weijia Zhang, shame on you as the association president, not standing up for us. The association is about freedom of the press. We're celebrating freedom of the press, and now we're embedded with the president. And you have not stood up for any of these people, these women who have been under attack by this president. Shame on you.
Yeah.
I
To me, the organization itself isn't getting the job done anymore,
not
and
anymore. No.
they got to stand up for their colleagues, and they need to pull the plug on doing any kind of a dinner with somebody who wants to be an authoritarian leader and hurt the free press in this country. It just sends the opposite message of what we need to send. It sends the wrong message, April.
And you talking about hurt. My knee is still hurting. I'm wearing a brace on my knee right now after that dinner, jumping under the table.
Oh my gosh, I
Oh
know.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We'll
Please
talk.
don't go back to this next one, April. Please.
Oh,
I
trust me. Oh no, not at all. Not
Yeah,
at all. I will not be there.
good.
Not.
Yeah.
Donald Trump and Weijia and that intimate crowd, y'all can have each other and have your steak and your lobster and do whatever you want with it. I won't be there. Weijia, shame on you. Oh, Weijia. Mm. I'm saying maybe she's just trying to keep a job. People say they feel sorry for. I don't know. I'm done.
CBS it's not the same place anymore. And I think that might be a big part of it, and it pains me to see what's happening over there. It's tragic. It really
Yeah,
is.
it's tragic. My friend, go do great work. Thank you
Thank
for
you, April.
joining
You
us today.
too. Great to see you.
You too, the
You're the
great Jim
best.
Acosta.
Love you. My
Love
sister
you
from another
more.
mister.
My brother from another mother. Thank you, friend.
Bye, April. Take care.